The reason why you're not getting the results you were hoping for on your GLP-1 medications can almost always be traced down to either insulin resistance, creating a hyperinsulinemic state, high elevated insulin levels, inflammation, thyroid, and cortisol. The complexity of these 4 issues are manifested and expressed with various lifestyle interventions that you're either not doing, the stuff that you need to do, or the things that you shouldn't be doing that you're doing. In this video, I'm gonna break down various categories of topics of things that you need to understand so that you can properly execute for the best results and handle a potential issue that you might have in these 4 categories. So the supplements, I broke it down into categories for you guys. So I know there's so many supplements in the world of supplements, and I feel like the ones that I'm saying are mandatory is the very smallest. And there's a ton of extra supplements that I'm not saying you shouldn't take. I'm just, again, not trying to put people into overwhelm in the beginning, because I noticed that would happen in the past when I would say, hey, these 15 things I need you to get. So the vitamin D, the magnesium, the fish oil or algae oil, and the multi, these are the core 4 every human should be on. And then you saw the electrolytes, really important for when you are long fasting, as well as the extra salt with it. I do see question, Julie, how would you eat Wednesday night on the 48-hour fast? Do you want to expand on that question, Julie?
I was just asking, would you eat? But we already got that answered. My most recent question is how much K2 with the vitamin D?
Okay, we actually have the perfect, let me show you right here. It's 5,000 IUs of vitamin D. Let me pull this, forget how much K2. I don't have the dose on the K2, but we can send that to you afterwards. The brand that I recommend has a good dose of K2 with it, but I forget the exact dose on K2. But 5,000 IUs of D is the main part.
Okay. I have some D and K2 that I want to use up before I buy new, so I was just wondering how much K2.
Yeah, totally. We'll get that to you.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. So let's keep it going. So after the essential, then we get down, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. So curcumin resveratrol is a phenomenal supplement to add, especially if you're taking LDN. This is another potent anti-inflammatory option. If you're not taking LDN, but you do want to reduce your inflammation levels, curcumin and resveratrol. How do you know you're inflamed? It's tough. If you don't feel great, notice my choice of words. If you don't feel great, inflammation is probably one of the reasons. And I know that's not the best description, but it's the most accurate one I can give you. If you feel great, then you know for sure you don't have an inflammation issue, because inflammation really does cross over into a lot of the hormone symptoms as well. The big issues of chronic inflammation, energy, brain fog, difficulty losing weight. Sounds familiar, right? Testosterone and thyroid, there's a lot of crossover. But I think everybody could benefit from reducing inflammation, honestly. This used to be part of my essential, but I removed it to the semi-essential. Then we get down here. If you are doing a reset, guys, I want you to take 1 bottle of thyroid CMV, just 1 bottle. Follow the directions there, two pills a day. This will help with your body's conversion of 4 to 3. It'll help with the overall process of your body getting through the reset. So just 1 bottle of the thyroid CMV. And then if you aren't getting 20 to 30 different fruits and vegetables, adding fiber is definitely a must. People ask, well, can I just take psyllium husk? Is definitely better than no fiber at all, but it's one type of fiber. And we now have a better idea with gut health that you want a diverse gut microbiome. And so this is my favorite diverse fiber product, which a lot of people, you don't even see they mention that kind of stuff. If you have issues with sugar cravings, if you have issues with gut healing, liver, all these other things are absolutely recommended. Just, again, not essential unless you think you or are aware you have an issue. So a lot of these questions might come up later in the program, guys. And if they do, you guys can always reach out to us. The extra appetite suppression, this is, some people come to us with doing this program without GLP-1s. And so obviously for them, they want to be on all the appetite suppressing supplements. If you are taking GLP-1s, you don't need the supplements, the appetite suppressing supplements as much, although they are still really nice to have. It's nice to be able to grab something for a couple hours of appetite suppression, especially when you're in those long fasts, those deep fasts, or if you're at an event and you're feeling craving, or you're going to be at an event, you take one of these before you go just to hit it harder. It's nice to be able to do that. So that's why I do having some of these extra appetite suppression supplements handy. Unimate from Feel Great System is my favorite. Some people do use them every day in this program. because they use it as a way to decrease their need of increasing the GLP-1, meaning instead of going up from 2.5 to 5, which is what some people have to do, they'll just add the Unimate imbalance and they never have to go up. That's an option too. Also, when you get to your goal and you start decreasing the frequency, you start going to microdosing and intermittent use of GLP-1, these come into play and come in handy. I definitely, my takeaway is they won't be wasted for sure. You'll use them eventually one way or another. But again, not mandatory, totally optional if you want to get them. So we're going to talk about stress and sleep next, but is there any questions about the supplements? Cool. Okay. Stress and sleep. Definitely there's supplements to help those categories as you saw. So sleep, if you're not getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, that's an issue. And we want to optimize that. We want to fix that. Even if you don't think it's that bad, the better you can get your sleep quality, the better your health will be, the better your lasting weight loss abilities will be, the better your hormones will be, the more resilient to illness your body will be. I can go on and on. Sleep is one of those things where it's like easy to take for granted, but severely underutilized. So is anybody here know they're not getting 7 to 9 hours quality sleep? I usually see a lot of hands go up. So we have a lot of good
I was
sleep.
gonna say, no, I do. I don't get that.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
either.
So
I don't.
I have an overactive bladder. So I get up and I use the restroom frequently at night.
Shoot. So that's more of just a uniqueness because of the bladder.
Yeah. Hmm.
Have you talked to your doctors? Is it an actual, your bladder is not explode, but to be dramatic, is an actual issue where you're accumulating too much urine, or is it the sensation which makes it think? In other words, if you could sleep through the 8 hours, would it be an actual problem for your bladder health? Has your doctor commented on that?
No, I think it's more of a sensation. So again, when I was in the hospital last year, I had to wear a catheter for almost 2 months. And so that just weakened my bladder extremely. And so since then, it's been getting better and I'm getting more sleep. I don't think I'm getting up as frequently, but again, I still am not sleeping 100% through the night.
Yeah. So a couple things to consider. The sleep video, and anybody should watch this video eventually, but it's a higher priority if you aren't getting quality sleep. So this is actually not on Flow University. We're going to break it up and put it on Flow University, but right now it's an hour-long video. I know that's not short, but I took probably 20 hours and put it into 1 hour trying to give you guys the protocol. The cool thing about fixing your sleep is it's not actually consuming time other than implementing it. But once you implement these strategies, it's just things that you're doing now, part of your routine that don't really take up that much more time. Definitely want you to do that. In the meantime, add those sleep supplements to your stack. I don't want you to be on a bunch of supplements for life. That's why I'm giving you the video, because hopefully you could fix your sleep and wean off the sleep supplements. I would love that. The most ideal scenario is you have the sleep supplements handy for nights where you think you're not going to get great sleep, stressful day, or you're sick, or things like that. That's how I use my sleep supplements, to save them, preserve them, make them more effective, because I don't want to get a dependence on them. Neither, I don't want you guys to be dependent on anything if I can help it. That's how we approach the sleep. And then the stress is similar, where if you know you have stress in your life, you got to handle it, you got to tackle it, reorganize it, make it less stressful. Most people are like, yeah, I've done that. It's part of my life, unfortunately. Hopefully it's not a spouse or a kid. Sometimes it is. And I totally understand, or a job. So the stress supplements, they're called adaptogenic herbs. So they're very powerful, the blend that I have there. So that's a good thing to add. With the stress, I do have a video that you could watch too as well. But with the stress thing, you just choose one technique. Unlike sleep, where you're making a bunch of changes, with stress, you're just choosing one technique, like meditation, like breath work, mindfulness, journaling, drawing. There's all these stress management apps. There's something called an NDSR protocol, mind walks. There's a lot. You just choose one that you think makes the most amount of sense, and then you implement that, say 5 minutes as part of your bedtime routine. I recommend as part of your bedtime routine because relaxing before bed is one of the sleep management strategies, right? And so it's nice, in my opinion, although some people really love meditating during the morning. And I wouldn't say to stop that if you already have a really good program there. Don't skip past these, right? Even if you don't think you have issues, it's well worth your time investing here. But it's an even bigger issue for you to get your weight loss started if you are aware of some issues in those categories. Any questions on stress, sleep, or the supplements, or fasting food, or anything so far?
I have a weird question.
There's nothing weird. Don't worry about it.
So I don't have any thyroid issues or anything like that. I am wanting to know because I've been on birth control for a very long time, and I have the Mirena, and I'm thinking that is causing a lot of my health issues. And I'm 41, so I'm getting close to that premenopause or menopause. And I was thinking about pulling it, getting it out of my body because I feel like it has a lot of effects on me and my health. Have you had anybody experience a hard time, like with weight loss, being on any kind of birth control?
Yes, I have, although it's not enough to say that for sure is an issue for you, right? It's intermittent. I can tell you most functional doctors will tell you if you could avoid any IOD, that's what they're going to tell you to do because they're aware of it. And really any birth control method, which sucks because sometimes you need something, right? So it's not the best advice. A copper IUD, though, is definitely the least likely to give you issues.
Yeah, I'm highly allergic to copper, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Okay. So you asked about that one. Yeah. Dang.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we'll find out in this program if that's an issue or not based
Okay.
off the results. So I wouldn't
Okay.
stress or think that you're screwed because of that. Absolutely. Plenty of people. Yeah. Plus, you don't want to think that way anyways. So,
Right.
a lot of people lose weight fine while being on it. Just sometimes it could be an issue. So we can cross that bridge if that's an issue. And we're going to document that in your chart, Ceci, right now.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Finally, last but not least, exercise. We all know how important exercise is, specifically weight training, though. So I want to be careful with how many things I say are extremely important, right? Because like you said, everything's important. Fasting, nutrition, and then weightlifting. That's the order of priority, honestly, in terms of trying to prioritize these categories in your brain. The importance of muscle mass is we're finally starting to understand that. If you guys have noticed, at least in the health and wellness space, there's a lot more discussion about muscle mass just in the last couple of years. So to make it clear, any weight loss program where you are not protecting your muscle mass, like it's a given that you're going to lose muscle mass no matter what you do. So the name of the game is how do I lose weight and protect as much muscle mass on my body as possible? If you don't think that way, that means you're going to lose more muscle mass. The more muscle mass you lose during your weight loss journey, the slower your metabolism becomes, the worse your blood sugar handling ability becomes. I don't want to say the more insulin resistant you become because all the other things you're doing is improving insulin resistance. So that's technically not true. But the loss of muscle mass on its own does make you more insulin resistant. So take that for what it is. Your results will be so much better the more muscle mass you have. The body stores glucose as glycogen in your liver and your muscles. So it's awesome to have more muscles because in the future you get to eat more carbs and not have any problem. And who doesn't want to be able to eat more carbs? I know I like to eat carbs. So that's another reason why it's nice to put on muscle. But then like the longevity benefits, the aging, it's insane. So the way that you can prioritize and protect muscle mass is when you weight train, you need to lift in a way that's called hypertrophy or muscle building. You need to lift the same way that you would lift if you were a 25-year-old kid trying to build muscle mass. Just maybe minus all the crazy erratic movements that they're doing. Like you want good form, all that kind of stuff. You want to protect your joints and you don't need to do as much volume as them. But the way they would lift or the way a bodybuilder would lift, that's called hypertrophy. And this is important because most exercise programs will teach you something different. What they're trying to do is how can I get the best of both worlds? How can I hit the muscles and burn as many calories as possible? Usually you'll see circuit styles, you'll see classes, you'll see even some CrossFit kind of stuff. And those are all great. I'm not poo-pooing those workouts, but they don't stimulate the muscles as much as hypertrophy does. You guys don't have to worry about burning a bunch of calories. Why is that? Because you're doing flow. The caloric deficit from flow fasting is already high enough. That's a nice perk. That means we don't have to kick our butt on the aerobics and trying to burn so much on spending all that time on the elliptical. I don't need you to worry about that. Just focus on 3 to 4 days a week, solid hypertrophy, kick some ass when you're in the gym. And
Can
so,
you spell that?
yeah, hypertrophy, HYPER.
Uh-huh.
And then trophy, TROPHY.
Oh, just like it sounds.
Yeah. So hypertrophy, you just say muscle building. It's just that, like I said, a lot of, especially personal trainers, which I do recommend, will sometimes gravitate towards more of the circuit style. So we want to avoid that. And if you're watching these clips from my coaching calls and wishing you can be part of the team, I'll put a link in the description, but we have thousands of individuals who are kicking ass using microdose intermittent use protocols and implementing sustainable lifestyle strategies, guys. Click that link, fill out your information. Now back to the show. And we want to lift like we're trying to build muscle mass. So with that being said, guys, we're going to go through the list here. We'll start with Aaron. Are you doing a solid weight training program?
Currently, right now, no, but I just stopped 2 months ago. I had a personal trainer who I lifted with 4 days a week, and then I did kickboxing the other 2 days.
Awesome. So you know how to lift.
Yeah.
So what's a realistic target for you to get back into your regimen of lifting again?
I will do it. I've just been so frustrated the last few months, and honestly, I had to have my teeth removed because of the graves, so I was waiting for that to heal,
Totally.
so I couldn't lift.
No, that makes a lot of sense, but it's healed now.
Yeah, it's getting there. I don't know if I could lift as hard as I was, but
You think like in a couple of days you could start with something lighter?
oh yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Ceci will follow up, and fantastic. I'm getting a little group commitment from all of us here because this is important. So Amanda, same question for you. Are you doing any lifting like this?
No, but I can. I just enjoy walking on the treadmill and stuff more because it clears my mind, if that makes sense.
Totally does. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that kind of cardio is bad. What I'm really trying to say is a lot of us, not everybody, cannot get it both done. But in theory, if you can get your 3 to 4 days a week and the cardio doesn't interfere with that, I'm all for it. Clear your mind, get the benefit.
Okay.
It's amazing. But if push comes to shove, you know now what I need you to prioritize.
Yeah. My
Kudos.
husband will be happy. He keeps trying to get me to do weights with him.
There's always a family member that's, I'll do it. And so that's awesome.
Yeah.
If you don't have a family member, guys, a personal trainer is a phenomenal investment if you don't know what you're doing, by the way. Okay, Chrissy, same question for you.
I do some walking. I just got don't laugh, a tractor tire. I used to do that.
Cool. No, that's
And
cool.
doing the flipping. My husband's active duty military and he's always big into that. So he's going to go out there and work with me.
Fantastic. And could he also get you, like, do you guys have access to a gym? Because the tire is great, believe it or not, but it still won't hit everything. But that's
Right.
definitely a great start. Are we going to be able to incorporate some gym stuff as well?
We can. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I think if you started the tire flipping, that would probably be good for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, but you'll need something different. You'll need a different stimulus, but super cool way to get it started. I wish I had a big tire to flip. Like that's cool. It's been a long time since I had a massive tire myself to flip, but fantastic. Okay, great. We got Meredith. Same question for you.
Yeah, I can do weightlifting. I was doing it actually for a while and I stopped maybe about a couple months ago just because I just kept gaining weight. So I didn't know if I was like stressing my body out too much or not because I was going early in the morning before work. But yeah, I can do weights.
Fantastic. So you have the experience. We'll get back into it. Yeah, no, it's crucial, guys. It'll make the biggest difference. Awesome. Thank you, Meredith. And then Marilyn, same question for you.
I just started about 6 weeks ago, class at the rec center, 2 days a week, but it's just hand weights. But yeah, because I didn't know anything about, that's probably why I gained weight so fast, because when I was doing the Optavia, I wasn't doing any
I think,
weight.
yeah, I think potentially for sure. So 6 weeks in this class, it's a great start. Do you have any ability to take it to the next step, you think now? And maybe, is there a local gym you could access?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Yeah, I could do it.
Do you have experience with those kind of machines, or do you think you'll have to do you have someone that can show you, or do you think you'll need like maybe 5 sessions with a trainer to get you structured and confident?
Somebody would have to show me. I don't have any experience.
Yeah, totally. I always appreciate and love an enthusiastic person that I'm going to go figure it out. but it is easy to hurt yourself. Yeah, if you don't have someone like a family member or a friend to teach you, find a gym that has personal trainers, let them know, hey, I'm budgeting, I got 5 to 10 sessions, because they're going to try to sell you the big package, and they're going to,
Yeah.
that's their business. That's what I did way back when I was really young. So just let them know, hey, I just need to be confident in the gym. This is more of a teach me. I want some routines. I want to feel confident. And then if I want to buy more, sure, I'll let you guys know. You tell the manager that, and then they'll set you up with a solid trainer, and you won't feel that like back and forth pressure.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Julie, last question for you. Last one on the board here.
Yeah, I do have a couple questions though, because I worked with a holistic nutritionist, and that was like I dropped crazy weight, but he was dead set, no working out until I got to goal weight. Why? So now
Yeah.
I'm like, he's the most success that I've had. So that's like my model. So telling me different now is a little bit hard. And then my other question was like with the 30-30-30, I don't know if you've seen TikTok, Gary Brecka talking about 30 with eat within 30 minutes. So how do you know? There's just so many different methods. How do you know for sure what's best?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the first question. So I'm trying to think of a scenario when that would even make sense. Like I'm literally trying to think. The data is very clear, unequivocally. When you lose
He
weight,
said it slows weight loss. It slows your weight loss, which
yeah, it does. When you lift weights, it slows down the number that goes down on the scale.
okay.
Absolutely. But it's slowing it down because it's protecting your muscle mass. And so if that's what that person said, I'm very concerned with their overall training and understanding of the body, because absolutely the scale number slows down, but it's because you have 2 types of material. You have more than 2 types, but you have your lean body mass, which is everything, including bones and cartilage. And then you have fat mass. And there's a ratio between the two, which you can tell with a metric called body fat percentage. But body fat percentage is really tricky to have a consistent and accurate measure. Like DEXA scans are the only thing that's accurate, and that's not accessible and cheap. Yeah, that makes me feel more confident to say I want to override that advice. Feel free to ask them if you still have communication. I'd love to hear a good explanation. But I was going to say the only explanation I would maybe scenario I would never say this, but maybe if I thought mentally the person needed to see the number go down in order for them to feel happy, maybe that would be like the only rationalization, but then I would still feel like I'm lying to the patient, because that wouldn't be good results. That's how confident I feel in that statement. But like I said, if you have communication with them, I'd love to, if they give you something unique, I'm happy to hear it, because I'm always willing to admit that I'm wrong. And I think that anybody that thinks that they know everything is not right. But I feel really confident in the fact that you want to weight train during your weight loss program, no matter what. And then help me understand the second question specifically, because I know you mentioned Gary Brecka's one protocol, but it sounded like it was
Yeah. He was just saying how he's never seen weight come off faster with eating 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up. So I'm like, okay, here you're saying, and then even my holistic nutritionist said eat right when you wake up and also eat before bed. So it's so confusing.
I know. So I've seen a little bit more recommendations behind protein when you wake up, I'd say the last 2 years, to the point where they're saying don't fast and eat a high protein breakfast, which is recent. If you notice the trend, intermittent fasting has been the craze for the last, I don't know, 5 to 8 years, 10 years. And so when I look at this, I'm realizing that especially with GLP-1s, which is now almost standard, if you realize that people are under eating significantly. And so when they're under eating protein. And so now it's almost like if you're going to fast and skip breakfast at the cost of not getting enough protein in the eating window, then yes, I can see why they're saying eat a high protein breakfast. But that's why I'm such a stickler to get the benefit of fasting, but also not degrade your muscle mass. You still have to hit your protein requirements in the eating window. And that will give you an insane amount of the best of both worlds, because in either scenario, you're severely compromising because you need the muscle mass. We just explained that. You get your adequate protein. But if you can do that in the eating window and fast in the morning, you're burning fat, you're optimizing your hormones. It's much more favorable for you. but not at the cost of not getting enough protein in the eating window. And in my opinion, that's where I think that advice comes from. But you're right, though. It is, they don't explain that part of it on the videos. So it's really confusing for a lot of people. But that's another question that I also feel very confident in telling you, that as long as you're not skimping on the protein throughout the rest of the day, heed my word and skip that breakfast and follow the protocol.
Okay.
If you're comfortable with that, if you're comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you want me to switch to, if my doctor will, switch from Ozempic to tirzepatide?
Couple of things to say about that. Tirzepatide might be gone in the next 1 to 3 months. Just so you guys know, Eli Lilly came out and said national shortage is over. Now it's not their call, but they're the ones that say it. And then now the FDA has to do whatever they do. And I have no idea what it is the FDA does in this process. I've never seen one of these things happen. So it's interesting. But Eli Lilly did say the shortage is over. Eli Lilly wants this to be gone from compounding pharmacies as quickly as possible, because they're not making enough money. So they need to make more money. So that's one reason that I wouldn't stress about trying to switch. Although I don't know if this is going to happen in a month or if it's going to happen in 3 months. Tirzepatide is a little better for sure. It's got some additional properties that I like. And before I would always said, yes, absolutely. Now that I have this, don't stress if you can, but if you can get your hands on it, use it. Just know that you might have to go to semaglutide after. It wouldn't be the end of the world if that happens in the middle of your program.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And so yes, I do want to work out. Pilates, is that weight building if I'm using your own weight?
Pilates is another good start, but eventually, like the tire flipping, great start. There's some good resistance, but it's limited. You're going to eventually have to hit the machines and target a lot of the muscle groups. And then even after machines, eventually you progress to free weights, and there always has to be an introduction of a new stimulus. It's a progressive overload kind of thing, which you'll learn when you start studying weight training and things like that. But it's a good start. Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions, guys, about anything whatsoever? Sorry that I took 20 minutes longer, but I like to be really thorough with these appointments. You guys are paying good money, and I want to make sure you guys have a great start.
I just have a question. Oh, go ahead.
So we'll start with Marilyn.
Okay, you were saying how we may not be able to get tirzepatide from you. So should we, because I'm getting 2 vials from you, and I'm wondering, should I just order another one just in case?
It's totally up to you. I hate to use that as a reason to say buy more. So that's totally your call. Eli Lilly came out with that statement, I think 3 weeks ago. So it's pretty recent. And everybody you should see the commotion between the compounding pharmacies and all it's like, oh my God, is this going to happen? I have no idea how quickly it will happen. I just know it's happening for sure. And now it's happening faster than what they've always been saying. I just don't know. If that gives you comfort, then I would say yes. But if you didn't have tirzepatide, guys, our core, and then it runs out, our course would be to flip you over to semaglutide, which is still good. It's just not as good. But you have to make that judgment call for yourself.
Yeah, because I took semaglutide for 4 weeks, and like I said, I gained 3 pounds.
I don't think it was the semaglutide, if I'm being honest, but I don't know for sure. And so I totally would say that buying more tirzepatide, it might make more sense, because that could have been the issue, but I don't think for sure. I'm not going to say for sure that was the reason.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone else had a question. I don't know who.
I just had a question as far as working out in the morning. So if I were to work out in the morning before work, I'm just going to still fast that 2 hours. Because I guess if I'm taking my medication in the morning, I still can't eat after 2 hours from the medication as well.
I do a deep dive in how that works with planning your fasting and your working out in the morning. But the quick answer is you can work your body into that point where, let's say you work out from 6 to 7:30 and you don't want to start eating till 10, for example. That could be fine. No problem at all. Your body can get there. But the first time you try that, it's definitely going to be harder for your body to adapt to that compared to just waiting till 10. When you work out during any fasted window, it's depending on how intense the workout is, it increases the intensity of the fast, because now you're asking your body to fuel itself for the higher energy demand when it's already not getting any energy at all. And so totally doable. but it does increase the demand on your body. So it takes longer to adapt to that, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
So if we have our medication and everything, we're not doing the reset, are we good to start everything now?
Yeah. And
Okay.
and let's clarify, the only difference between reset and no reset, guys, is simply not going past stage 1 of fasting. That's the only everything else I want to get you guys into that we talked about today as quickly as possible. But if you are in a reset, you got to wait on the stage 2 and stage 3 until we graduate you through the reset. And then some of you guys are still in the to be determined if I'm in a reset or not. And we talked about that. So fantastic. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, then you guys are going to want to check this one out. I take a deep dive into fasting and overall lasting weight loss strategies utilizing these GLP-1 medications in the best format, microdosing, intermittent usage. Check that out, guys. We'll see you later.